Okay, so this is flexible budgeting from the 2006 paper. We've laid out the names of our basic costs, and we're going to work out our type. We need to separate them into the variable and fixed elements so we can decide which type they are. Two formulas. One is the change in cost, the other is the change in production. So for example, I would assume that direct materials is going to be fully variable. So if I just look and see what happens to our costs when production goes from 10,000 units to 15,000 units. So the cost goes from that to that. So the costs go up by 70,000 units. And the number of units we produce goes up by 5,000 units. So that means that the cost is 14 per unit. Okay. Now let's just see, does that fully explain the increase in costs? So if we said here, for example, let's say choose any level of production, say 50,000 or 50%. Using the formula above, the total cost is 140,000. Okay, which is that figure there. Does that equal the variable cost, which we have above is 14? So 14 times the quantity, which is 10,000, and then plus the fixed costs. So 14 by that is 140,000. That equals that, which means fixed cost must be 0. So that means it's a fully variable cost. Okay, so this is variable. And that means there's 0 fixed costs. Wages, I'm going to assume the wages is the same. We'll do the same thing. Wages goes up by 55,000 units, or 55,000 euros. Okay, as a result of a 5,000 increase in production. So that's 11 per unit. So if we produce 10,000 units, 10,000 multiplied by 11 would be 111,000. Sorry, 110,000, which is the total cost. So that means there's no fixed cost again. So it's variable. So we have to separate here production and other overheads into the fixed and variable elements. So that means that we're expecting these to be both mixed. And while I'm at it, I'll just quickly look at administration. So administration is going to be fixed because it never changes. So there's no variable element there and 28 grand of a fixed element. So using my formula, so I'm going to do first production overheads. So separate them. I need to get the fixed element, or the variable element first by using the first formula. So the cost goes from 73 to 108. So that's an increase of 25. Is that it? So no, it's not. So I'll just quickly check that. So we have 108 minus 73, 35. Okay, so the costs go up by 35, and then the production, well, the production has gone up by 5. Okay, so that means the variable element is going to be 7 per unit. Okay, so that's so 7 per unit. So put it into the formula here to see what is left, what is the fixed cost. So I just choose a particular level of production. So at 50%, so our total cost at 50% production overhead is 73,000 equals the 7 per unit. So 7 times Q, which is 10,000, plus fixed costs. So 7 by 10 is 70, so 73, so fixed cost must equal 3. Now you have to make sure you explain this proper, show all your rough work for this, because you're actually getting marks for these two questions here. So that's and this is 3,000. So I'll do the same for number 2. I'll do it over here. And this is other. So what happens to other overheads? From 39 to 54, well, that's 15. So we'll have 15,000 over the increase of 5,000. So that's variable cost of 3 per unit. So put that up here. So I'm going to again choose at 50%. So the total cost for other overheads at 50% is 39 grand equals the variable element, which is 3, times 10,000 units, which is 30,000 units, okay, plus fixed costs. So 3 by that is 30,000, from 39 is 9,000, so fixed cost equals 9,000. Okay, so we've now classified, we've separated those. We have to prepare a flexible budget for the 95% activity level. So at 95%. So how many units at 95%? So if at 50% we produce 10,000 units, we need to find out 1%. So if you divide 10,000 by 50, that gives you 500. And is that right? Let's just quickly check. So 10,000. So I want to find what's 1%. Okay, so we divide that by 50. So that's 200. Okay, and then we multiply the 200 by 95, and that gives us the amount of units at 95%. So 200 times 95, and that gives us the amount we're going to produce that. So that's 19,000 units. Okay. So if I do my variable cost here, that's going to be 19,000 multiplied by that. For the wages, it'll be 19,000 multiplied by the 11 per unit. For the production overheads, it's going to be 19,000 multiplied by, put this in brackets, so it's going to be 19,000 times 7 for the mixed, and then we add on the fixed element. We'll do the same here, 19,000 times 3 per unit, and then plus 9,000. And then the fixed one, well, that doesn't change. So you add that together and you get okay, so that's total cost. Now we have to restate the budget. Okay, so I need to find out what my sales price is going to be. So profit is going to be 24% of sales. Okay, so I'll work this out up here. So therefore, cost is 70, the difference, 74 taken away from 100%, because sales is 100%. So cost is 76%. And sales is 100%. So we know that Let's fix that. We know that that's our total cost. That represents 76%. So our sales is going to be that number divided by 76, get 1%, and then multiply by 100. But we have to restate the budget using marginal costing principles showing the contribution. So we'll have sales less variable costs. Now we have a number of variable costs here. We have 4 variable costs. So we'll have materials, wages, production, overheads, and other overheads. And that will give us our total variable cost. When we take that away from sales, that will give us contribution. And we'll take away fixed costs. And how many fixed costs do we have? So we had production overheads, other overheads, administration. We had no variable. And that will give us a total, and then from that we'll be able to work out our profit. We don't call it net profit with this type of statement. So working out our sales, first of all, we said there's a total cost. So total cost is 76% here of sales. Okay, so we need to get that figure there. So 705 for our total cost. We divide that by 76, that gives us 1%, and then multiply it by 100, and that gives us the sales figure, the full figure, the 100%. Okay. Now, so our materials, we would work that out up here. So it's that, and our wages, we've already worked that out. Now the production overheads is 7 by 19 grand. That's 19,000 units. And the other overheads is 3 by the 19,000 units we want to produce. So that is those added together. And then the contribution is when we have our sales figure, and we take away from sales the other overheads. Fixed costs, they don't change. So we said, for looking up here, we had fixed costs of 3 and then 9. 9 for the other overheads. And administration is 28. Never changes. So we add these numbers and we take them away from our contribution, and that gives us our profit. And if you've done that right, that should be 24% of our sales figure. Okay, I hope that makes sense.